Beneath the willow tree. The small town of Willow Bend was nestled between rolling hills and a crystal-clear lake, where the whispering winds carried secrets and dreams. Among the people who called it home was Ava, a fiercely independent artist with a passion for capturing the soul of the world in her paintings. Her eyes held the storms of 1,000 emotions, though she rarely let anyone pass the surface. Every afternoon, Ava would retreat to the same spot, beneath the town's famed willow tree by the lake. Its long, drooping branches seemed to shield her from the world as she painted. This was her sanctuary, her escape. What she didn't know was that it had also become someone else's refuge. Noah had been back in Willow Bend for a month. After years of chasing success in the fast-paced world of architecture, life had burned him out. The city had suffocated him, stripping him of his joy. So he returned home, hoping the familiar sights and smells would stitch him back together. Every day, Noah walked the lake path, finding peace in the rhythm of his footsteps and the gentle rustling of the willow tree. It was during one of these walks that he first noticed Ava. She was sitting cross-legged on the grass, her auburn hair cascading like a flame, lost in her canvas. He didn't approach, didn't want to break the spell, but he couldn't help returning day after day, drawn to her like a moth to light. He didn't know why he stayed at first. Perhaps it was the way her quiet focus mirrored his yearning for stillness. One day, the wind had a mischievous streak. As Ava balanced her palette, a sudden gust whipped through, scattering her papers across the ground. She groaned in frustration and scrambled to gather them. That was when Noah decided to step forward. "Let me help," he said, kneeling to grab a paper that had flown near the water's edge. Ava looked up, startled. For a moment their eyes met and the world seemed to pause. His were a soft hazel, filled with warmth and something Ava hadn't seen in a long time, kindness without expectation. "Thank you," she murmured, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "It's nothing," he replied, handing her the sheet. "Your work is beautiful. You have quite the gift." She blinked, unused to compliments. "You've been watching me?" Noah hesitated, then chuckled. "That sounds creepier than it is, I promise. I walk here often. It's hard not to notice you, the way you work, like you're in another world." Ava didn't know what to say. She wasn't used to people paying attention to her, much less seeing through the walls she kept firmly in place. But something about Noah's demeanor disarmed her. Over the next few weeks, their paths continued to cross. What began as polite exchanges grew into easy conversations. Noah told her about his return to Willow Bend, how he was trying to rediscover himself after losing his spark in the city. Ava shared snippets of her life, though she carefully avoided mentioning her deepest scars, the broken relationships, the family who had grown distant, and the loneliness that had become her shadow. It was Noah who suggested they paint together one afternoon. "I'm terrible at it," he admitted, "but I'd love to see how you work up close." Ava laughed, a sound Noah realized he wanted to hear more of. "All right, but don't say I didn't warn you. I take my art seriously." That afternoon was magic. Noah's attempts at painting were clumsy, his strokes uneven, his colors mismatched. Ava couldn't stop laughing, and Noah found himself grinning like he hadn't in years. "You're hopeless," she teased, her voice light. "Hopelessly captivated, maybe," he shot back, his tone playful but his eyes serious. Ava's laughter faltered. She felt her cheeks warm, but she turned away, pretending to focus on her brush. Noah didn't push. He sensed there was something fragile in her, something that needed time. As the days turned into weeks, their friendship deepened. They shared quiet moments beneath the willow tree, conversations about dreams and fears, and even comfortable silences that felt as intimate as words. Noah started to bring her coffee in the mornings, learning how she liked it, black with a hint of cinnamon. Ava found herself looking forward to his presence, her once lonely sanctuary now filled with warmth. But Ava couldn't shake the fear that lingered in her heart. She had been hurt before, abandoned by people she thought would stay. She had taught herself to be strong, to rely on no one. Letting Noah in felt like walking a tightrope over a deep chasm. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Noah finally voiced what had been growing between them. "Ava," he began, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability, "I think I'm falling for you." Her breath caught. She looked at him, her heart warring with her mind. She wanted to believe him, to trust the sincerity in his eyes. But the walls she had built were tall, and fear was a relentless guard. Noah, she paused, searching for the right words. I'm not good at letting people in. I don't know if I can give you what you want. Noah stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. I'm not asking for anything you're not ready to give. I just want you to know how I feel. And if all you need is a friend, then that's what I'll be. I'll wait as long as it takes. His words hit Ava like a tidal wave, breaking against the barriers she had clung to for so long. For the first time in years, she felt the possibility of something more, a love that didn't demand, but offered. It wasn't immediate. Ava didn't throw herself into Noah's arms that night, but slowly she began to let him in. She shared her fears, her past, her dreams, and Noah listened, patient and unwavering. One crisp autumn morning, as they sat beneath the willow tree, Ava reached for Noah's hand. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I know, he said, threading his fingers through hers, but you don't have to do this alone. In that moment, something shifted. The walls Ava had spent years building began to crumble, and she realized that love didn't have to be a battlefield. It could be a sanctuary, like the willow tree that had witnessed their journey. Their love story wasn't perfect. It had its ups and downs, moments of doubt and fear, but it was real, and it was theirs. Together they painted a new canvas, one of trust, hope, and a love that grew stronger with each passing day. And beneath the willow tree, their story continued to unfold, a testament to the beauty of letting go and letting love in.